might fail state of corruption. This is an important video today. How about we incriminate the U.S. Attorney? How about the AG's office? The banking department? What I'm going to show you is hard evidence that we're going to put this together and give it to Emily Rice, the U.S. Attorney and the Department of Justice in Washington. No, I'm not holding my breath, but you're going to know what we have. Black and white, no questions asked. Now, before I get into the Department of Revenue and how we caught them, I just want you to know that I had a hearing scheduled this month with Divine Milliman. Right. They asked for it. You know what we asked for? A camera. Guess what's hearing's canceled? We can't have no hearing. Right. Not with a camera. And then we had another hearing with the DRA. In fact, I'll show you all the documentation. All we asked for when the hearing is, could we bring in a camera? Hearing canceled. You see, that's what I want to do with everybody. Going to court with cameras, hearings with cameras. You see, they don't like operating under the light. They're like vampires. All right, you ready? Let's start with the Department of Revenue. I requested a 91A of the documentation that they have with me in my file. There was 349 pages. You know what we got? Nothing. Like 8 pages. I gave a 2.5-hour hearing on tape. You know what they gave us back? 9 minutes. Right. That's the corruption in this state. Now, what the Department of Revenue is trying to do is leverage me. I told you about Walker. When they canceled the hearing, I'm going to put this document and all the information and the criminalities that went to Carolyn Delaney. She is the lawyer for the New Hampshire Department of Revenue, whose husband was Michael Delaney, the AG's office. See, I told you this is an AG operation. Now, Delaney, I want you to know that she worked for, you ready? Morris Mahoney these last few years. You know when she worked with them? When they were my attorneys. You know with Darla Sedgwick, when we had that meeting, it was in Manchester in their offices. Carol Delaney's been on top of this. It may be that she even went to the DRA to cover discrimination. Right. You know where she worked before that? Wiggins and Norrie. Remember Anderson trying to get into my company? Right. From Wiggins and Norrie. Remember I said that these attorneys have corrupted all the departments in this state, but they do it with the ability to control the AG's office. So that's Carolyn Delaney. All right? Now I want you, and I will post this document. You will see that they received it. They know the incrimination. In fact, on one of the discs that I got, they had said that they had to go to the Attorney General's, that I sent the information of the forgery of the tax return. Okay? They forged my 11 tax return right here. And the reason why they forged it, they put the information on the K1. Now what that really means is, I had the largest horse racing operation in the world. More races won than anybody who ever lived. If it was a hobby for me, it's a hobby for everybody in the universe. Got it? So it was never a hobby. And the IRS said it wasn't. The reason why they put it on my taxes, then forged it because I couldn't see it. Now there's no doubt about the forgery because it's certified by one of the leading experts in the country. Right. That says without a doubt, and I'll post it, that it is a forgery. Because they had to leverage me with it. Do you know what the DRA is saying right now? We don't have to have a hearing. There's no penalty. There's no money owed. All I have to do is redo my 11 tax return, and say it's not on the K1. But I'm going to remove the forgery that would put the DRA in jail, the AG Foster in jail. That's why I'm refusing. I don't owe any money. They owe me millions. Right. But if we let this go, we let them go. This has been the cover-up, right? Alex Walker, I'm going to show you where he asked for a release if he resolved the IRS and DRA problem that they created. You want to know if they created it? Here's the IRS tax advocate saying, ready? I understand for the timing issues that arose preventing the IRS from processing the original 2009. Thank you for your patience and understanding. When have you got a letter from the IRS thanking you for your patience and understanding? How's that, you bastards? I only got you on tape, right? When I went to the criminal division of the IRS. We caught the IRS in the corruption. Remember Tom Morley? And then the tape, we only had Tim Campus, the Adjutant General of the IRS, you know, the top dog, lying his ass off saying we have a mole in the company. Jeez, what a country.
I don't care. My concerns about wrong thing. They're the wrong thing it has. So that's something I did not forgive them. In one capacity, you want me to write something like a memo, email. Good times, Tim. This is going to be your case. I'm going to call him, Chris, and I'm going to tell him, like, we have a plan. We've had an undercover interview.
All right? Now that release, he went through Henry Hyder, attorney Henry Hyder. And you know what I did? I went to United States Attorney John Kakavas. Remember that bastard? With FRM and the cover-up? Right. Well, I went to him asking him for immunities. For guess who? Eric Renner from Morris Mahoney. I'll bet you he's close friends with Carolyn Delaney. Right. But he also wanted a deal. Right. And so did Hyder. They wanted an immunity. Who do we go to get an immunity but the U.S. Attorney? You know what? Kakavas wanted all their information. He was very interested in the criminality. And then he turned around, and I realized, and I sent him this letter. Now I'm going to post this in the back. So there's no question about what I'm saying to him. After our discussion yesterday, I've been thinking about the incriminating information you wanted me to send you about Attorney Renner and Attorney Hyder before we speak with them or offer them immunity. Meaning, let's see what you got. We're not going to give you a deal. We're going to threaten you and see what you're going to come forwards. And then I said it could also be an attempt to use that information to leverage them not to come forwards, which is exactly what happened. Lucky guess, huh? You're being such close friends with Alex Walker. Good buddies. What would I do if send you all the information on Walker, and what were you going to do with that? Maybe we're going to give it to your buddy Walker for immunity. It's very interesting how you talked about being the prosecutor of FRM. Pretty proud of that, huh? Farrer and Dodd. What, did you forget to tell me the fact that Attorney Howard represented Dodd? Because you didn't tell me. Wasn't Howard your business partner? He was. What are the odds of that happening? If you're wondering, the odds are 4,146 attorneys, licensed attorneys in this state. Oddly enough, your partner was a defense attorney. Not quite a miracle, but pretty fucking close now, isn't it? Just let's talk hypothetically. What if the U.S. Attorney's Office went to offer Farrer and Dodd a deal, maybe even an early release? All you had to do is shut your mouth. Right. Coming from the U.S. Attorney, it would be about second to Jesus. And that's exactly what happened. They shook Farrer and Dodd because they were running the Ponzi scheme for Bill Shaheen. You see how important this is? How about this now? Let's recap. Banking Department, Alex Walker, Bill Shaheen, the IRS, the DRA, all covered by the AG's office. Right? No mistake. We had a deposition with the accountant, a guy named Cohen, Mark Cohen. So if you have problems with the IRS, you need accounting help, Don't use that motherfucker. All right, so let's interview this guy, right? In a deposition. It was like pulling teeth. I asked him if he had a meeting with Larry Schwartz. You know what he says? He questions, he goes, I don't, you never asked me that. I go, well, yes, I did. I've asked him about 4 times before this. Did you have a meeting with Schwartz? No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Then I said, well, I'll show you some emails I have that says you met Schwartz. So that would be untrue. So before I showed him the emails, he goes, the question is, are you going to get to see these emails that I've asked you about and that you denied? Perhaps it's a different meeting, he responds. Remember, this is the accountant that has it on the K1, that he knows it's corrupt, he knows it shouldn't be there, and he knows I'm being leveraged. So he just turned around and said, I don't know, I've never met him. Now he's saying, after we show him an email that arranged a meeting, maybe it's a different meeting. Meaning he's suggesting there's more than one. From a guy a minute ago who didn't say he had any meetings with him. Well, in the meeting, the particular meeting, it might have been the first meeting, a very early meeting. Do you remember asking Mr. Schwartz what he put on the K1? Why would you put the hobby in counting it as income when the IRS called it a business? He goes, did you see that? He goes, absolutely. Oh, well, they didn't have a meeting. Now we absolutely seen it. It's all right. Do you remember what he said? Yes, I do. The short answers. Well, what did he say? He said the counselor told him to put it on the K1. Now, let me think. Who's my counselor? Alex Walker? You remember the pinhead who just asked me for a release? Right. He told him to corrupt the tax return, make it an issue. This is the same issue that the DRA's having. How about we put all the bastards in jail? We can. They're all involved in this. Let's go on. So in other words, so respectfully, Schwartz said that Walker told him he'd take care of it with the DRA. You'd be happy to know the same week Alex Walker made an offer from the DRA. Then what was on the K1? Are you saying it doesn't bring the memory back? Meaning Walker told him that he was taking care of this with the DRA. He told him to put it on the tax return, to corrupt the tax returns, to use it as leverage. It was all bullshit. It was all for me to take the money and walk away. See, this is what happens. When you don't take their $50 million, and I'd like you to look at the list again, signed, and I'd like you to look at the last video with Mr. Barrington. 50 million ways to stop guilt. Did you hear him say I didn't get the offer? See, I did. So if you're not going to take their money, they're going to create a situation, like to take your business, to leverage your business. Remember, Anderson wants my financial. Barrington, in that case, wanted the company financial. Hello? Right? That's how incriminating, and that's the size of this and the web of this. So, what we got with the DRA, how can you go into court and lose the case when you have forged tax returns? It's improperly, and everybody knows, including the IRS, that it's a boo-boo, right? Then how is it going to still the court? In fact, we don't just go to court. We go to, remember the hit judge, Judge Anderson. I mean, let's think of the odds. What do I got? 5, 6 cases with this guy? Now you remember how many attorneys there are? 4,161? How is it that I get the same crooked judge every fucking time? Right? 5 in a row. What am I, lucky? Oh, we still haven't had a deposition. Now, do you remember Follow the Head? Remember Dickhead? He doesn't only, what kind of parents do we have to name this guy a dick? And what did he do against the law of nature even to look like that? But let's put it this way. Our boy Dickhead puts in a complaint with Anderson, right? Anderson, you know what he gives them? He gives everybody summary judgment. We don't want no witnesses. We don't want no fucking evidence. We don't want to see no forgery. We just want to leverage you. And I remind you, this is the same guy who CC'd in our last case, for 1 month of a divorce bill from 2007 to audit my whole company. Right. You don't think they want to know what I'm beating over the head with, do you? Right? So everybody's on the mailing list, including Larry Schwartz, attorney, the accountants. Turns out they don't want to go to jail. We just got to find somebody that'll put them in jail. Good luck. We're going to send all this information to Emily Rice. Right. I'm going to show you her picture. You know the thing about Emily Rice? You know who appointed her? Let me think. Shaheen and Ayat. You getting an idea how this is going to work? They put their own people in place. They don't put themselves in jail. Right. Remember the mafia? They make you a member by having you kill somebody. Well, it's the same rules here, except for you're the sheep and you're the people they're slaughtering. All right? So they're going to get all that. But it was Richard Head. Remember? At the same time, Head was doing in banking, trying to leverage me. Follow the Head. See? This is an AG plan. When I caught Head on this, he went to California. Right. Hardest state in the country to extradite. You get the picture? He did his job with the banking, with the DRA, and he left so he can't be called in as a witness. This is how this works. This is all hard evidence. I will post this. There is no question of the criminality. I want you to understand what we can get here. Listen, I'm running for governor, not because I wanted to be governor, because it's our last bastion of hope. Let's make a statement. Write in Mike Gill for governor. That's what I do. Let's send a statement to each and every one of these that we're tired of this. We're not going to take it. There's no doubt here. You get Sununu who's going to play catch with them. You get Van Osteren. Van Osteren's a clone for Shaheen, just as Hassan was. I mean, there's not one of them that created a job. This guy worked making yogurt. That's Van Osteren. Do you remember the video with the laundry? I want you to look at it again. I only talked to the executive council, Sununu, and Van Osteren, and I said, the corruption in the banking department, the drugs, the laundering of that. Did you hear them ask me one question? Yet I had Sununu in text messages with Abard. He knew the corruption of FRM and all. I mean, aren't you tired of having these idiots smiling? You never get an answer. You just get some half-assed look on their face. Remember Gardner? Remember Sununu? It's the look they all have. You know why? They can't turn around and give you a reasonable explanation on why I'm wrong, because they don't have one. Now I want you to understand the importance of this. This isn't just one case. It incriminates the AG and the banking and Kakabish, your U.S. attorney, and maybe the existing U.S. attorney. We get Bill Shaheen. You see this IRS? You see we played this clip? Do you know anybody, let's play a game. Do you know anybody that can have the Adjutant General of the IRS act corruptly?